So good afternoon to those who are in afternoon. Good morning to those for whom it's morning. I'm Gwenn Weaver. I'm going to get us kicked off on the third session in our webinar series on digital equity and inclusion. The first two parts, we covered some definitions of what digital equity is and talked about it a little bit. Talked about what digital equity and inclusion are and why they're important to the adult literacy world. And then the other day, we talked a little bit about the funding, especially the federal funding that's available currently for pursuing digital equity activities. And so what we want to do today is give you some tools and information on how you can pursue your activities even better through programming and hopefully sustain them with and without federal funding. So I'm going to start off again because I've done this for both of the other sessions. And part of it, I think I may have told you before, is that I'm a librarian by training. And I like to be sure that people understand what it is we're doing and what we're talking about. So I'm going to start today with the definition of digital literacy because our other panelists are going to give you more information about how to actually teach people this kind of stuff. So digital literacy, as we all know, is a key ingredient in the digital equity recipe. It's one of the main pieces that people need in order to be able to participate. This definition, although it's a little bit out of date, was created probably about not quite 10 years ago by the American Library Association, but it is still pretty much widely used and has become at least a standard-based definition of digital literacy. UNESCO, and I don't know how many people know what UNESCO is, but it's the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, created a new definition that's similar to this, but goes a little bit further and moves us to where we need to really think these days, which is the arena of digital skills. So digital literacy is really the basics of being able to use information technology, but digital skills give us even more tools to be able to participate and use the technology better. But in order to do that, you need to have people learn how to do that. So I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Rachel Buddy, and let her tell you about at least one of the tools that's available. Rachel, I'm going to stop sharing and pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Gwen. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for having us. Make sure everyone can see my screen here. All right. So thank you so much for having us. My name's Rachel Buddy, and today I'm going to share a digital equity solution that's available to you due to a wonderful partnership we have between New Readers Press and Learning Upgrade. So when you're working on your planning development for the Digital Equity Act, please consider using Learning Upgrade in your planning to improve your digital skills training. For those of you not familiar with Learning Upgrade, this is a digital platform that gives each student their own path to learning success in English, math, test preparation, and skills such as digital literacy. Learning Upgrade is available on almost any device through the web, smartphones, tablets, so students can learn anytime, anywhere, making this a pretty powerful solution to increase digital equity. Not only does the student app offer 22 courses students can use independently or on the web, but teachers and administrators can also easily monitor student progress to identify strengths and weaknesses as students are completing those courses and lessons independently. The new and improved learning management system gives teachers and administrators flexible options for onboarding, tracking student progress, and reporting. To help close the digital divide, students get started easily with self-enrollment instructions that are even available in multiple languages, or you can create accounts and then provide a username and password with instructions in a native language so users can log into the app. After students download the app, they can also actually view the login instructions in their native languages before beginning their courses in English or digital literacy. And administrators can manage multiple sites, teachers, and classes, print or export valuable data, use the advanced filters to customize reports, or track progress and growth for the entire program. Teachers will have unlimited access to all courses and lessons with a teacher whiteboard that can actually be used for instruction of digital literacy. They can easily view activity logs, report cards, and monitor student progress. They can assign and modify course and lesson pathways for students, send direct messages to students using text, email, or even the WhatsApp app. And they can print or send certificates for students as a positive reinforcement of their achievements. Let's take a closer look specifically at the digital literacy content available in Learning Upgrade. The Learning Upgrade Digital Literacy course offers 60 engaging interactive lessons that are aligned to ISTE standards, Northstar, and the DQ framework standards. The digital literacy course was actually created for students at NRS Level 5, basically because of the vocabulary, and it covers topics such as devices, data, content creation, communication, security and privacy, digital citizenship, technology, and much more. Because adult education research shows that adult learners succeed when lessons are both visual and interactive, the use of videos, songs, interactive practice questions, and positive reinforcement make Learning Upgrade an excellent solution for adult ed programs. Here's a look at the 60 lessons in Learning Upgrade Digital Literacy course that was created to help students improve digital literacy skills. So you may notice important topics such as chat rooms, online scams, device and content protection, virtual reality, and digital economy. That's in the news today. The courses are designed for learners to use independently and require each lesson to be completed with a minimum level of mastery to continue to the next lesson. And you'll also notice that lesson 60 is a final challenge intended to assess the learner's success in the course. In addition to the full digital literacy course, New Readers Press has created a companion digital literacy workbook for students and even a teacher's guide to complement the course. The teacher's guide includes learning goals based on ISTE and Northstar standards, prerequisite skills, tips for previewing key vocabulary, teaching strategies for skill review, differentiation activities to help students step up or step down from the lesson, as well as class discussion prompts and supplemental projects for each lesson. And our companion student workbook provides additional practice questions, discussion topics, and lesson projects, as well as final assessments that can be used together with the digital lessons to create a comprehensive blended learning experience for your students. And since there are no duplications of questions, students will complete the course with a higher level of mastery. So although we focus today on Learning Upgrade's digital literacy course, when students have an account in Learning Upgrade, you can also provide them with access to all of the courses, including English, mathematics, work and life skills, where the digital literacy course is located, and of course, test prep. So you might even notice that there are three areas here that are grayed out, and that's because we have new courses coming soon, and some actually have a preview available now if you get into Learning Upgrade. So the three courses are work-life skills, financial literacy, and citizenship. So you get a lot in addition to the digital literacy course that comes with Learning Upgrade. I think Courtney is up next to share another one of our digital solutions with everyone. So thanks for sharing your time with me. Thanks, Gwen. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate everything you do for digital equity.
Hi, everyone. My name's Courtney. I am a digital account manager at New Readers Press, and I do all of the onboarding and training for a platform that we have partnered with. And that platform is named Engine. So as I was preparing today, I came across a very quick 1-minute video that I thought really did a nice job of explaining how Engine supports digital literacy.
Our English for Digital Literacy pathway offers learners instruction in foundational computer skills and English at the same time. It's estimated that English language learners and workers with limited English proficiency make up around 50% of those in the workforce who have limited or no digital skills, and this remains a significant barrier to effective modern-day job searching. From learning how to turn on and off both Apple and Windows computers to navigating the internet, and from troubleshooting common problems to attending video meetings, the content of this course prepares learners to use technology in their own life as they pursue their career and academic goals. Topics include using a mouse, getting an email address, and navigating different internet browsers. All the content in this pathway comes from real examples of people using technology in the real world. And the topics, lessons, and key vocabulary were chosen after a careful analysis of the needs of adults with limited digital literacy. This pathway can give learners the skills they need to navigate online and blended learning, remote work and distance training, and can serve as a bridge to additional digital career development. For more information.
Okay, now we'll go ahead and go live to the Engine platform. And one of the supported courses that I have on my homepage is the English for Digital Literacy course. This course has 100 lessons and 10 units and 10 achievement tests supported within the course. One aspect of Engine that I find really beneficial, especially for learners who are learning their digital literacy or pre-beginner learners, is the ability to always go back and redo any lesson. As you can see, I am on lesson 3, and if I would like to redo lesson 1 or lesson 2, all I have to do is go back and complete the lesson again. So let's take a look at a live course, a live lesson within the Engine platform.
There are lots of desktop computers at the library. They each have a monitor, keyboard, and mouse.
So at the bottom, I have the words, my highlighted words. We'll go into a word bank for consistent repetition. I always have the ability to preview words ahead of the lesson, and then go into this particular lesson activity. Every lesson within the Engine platform has 3 comparable activities in association with each lesson.
Rides a scooter. At my desk. Climb the hilltop. Desktop computers. Dances on the tabletop.
And so for this one, it's a drag to the correct space. Sorry, I don't have my finger on the mouse. Correct.
Desktop computers.
Each. Egg. Earth. Easy. Eat. Each.
And so on. One of the best ways to highlight what the digital literacy course has to offer is to look at the Engine course guide. And I'm going to drop this link in the chat so you all have access to this course guide. This is a very important piece of the Engine platform. There's no way I can really explain what all Engine has to offer in the time we have together today. But in the course guide, the English for Digital Literacy course, as I said, with 100 lessons at a beginner level. And just by clicking on this link, instructors and educators can at a glance look at the description, the course objective, what units are offered within this course. Learners will gain an understanding of how to use a computer. They'll learn basic navigation and word processing skills. They'll even learn how to create text files and save those files. Each one of these units is broken down even further in each tab at the bottom. English for Digital Literacy correlates, and a pre-beginner literacy course has been created that aligns directly with the digital literacy course. Going into the pre-beginner literacy course that complements the digital literacy course, you'll see that we can even kind of take that a couple steps back and really look at letter recognition with the key in association with digital literacy skills. Same at each unit, broken down so educators can plan. Digital literacy creates on-ramps for career pathways. And as I scroll through, you can see all of the different career opportunities that the digital literacy course can create an open door. Business, healthcare, manufacturing. Heading back to the Engine platform. A learner will be able to activate their account, have an assessment that is optional, and be leveled within the Engine platform and access courses at hand. Thank you for your time today. If you have any questions or would like to learn more about Engine, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you more about Engine.
Great, thanks, Courtney. So I am going to share my screen. Hello, everyone. I am wearing today my author hat. So what I want to do is talk about the Computers One Click at a Time series of instructional materials, which is the third offering to basically help support your digital literacy training programs. And so what I want to do is just basically highlight a few areas about Computers One Click at a Time. It is for basic computer learners. And essentially what we have is a workbook that is the foundation. And then we have an instructor's guide as well as a student supplement. Now the instructor guide and the student supplement are both online. And then lastly, we have a premium offering, which is basically 16 micro courses that helps learners to basically consume the content in bite-sized chunks. So what I want to share is just basically the premise of the overall product line. And what we wanted to do with the content was really build foundational digital skills and basically help the adult learner navigate work, life, and school with confidence. And I want to emphasize the with confidence because a lot of the learners that we have basically have been able to interact with and have learned about from some of our customers, they approach using computers, particularly at the basic level, with a lot of intimidation. And so the overall goal was really to help remove the intimidation and the fear. And so I just want to highlight who some of those users are. And so we've collected a lot of feedback over the past 5 years from those individuals who have been using the product. And so I just want to share who those users are, some basic demographics. So you see here the age range, which tends to be adult learners from 16 to 84, with the average age being 40. So that is a huge range, but it's very interesting because there has been value in the product line with adults from 16 all the way up to 84. And again, a lot of the program participants of a lot of our customers are English language learners. Some are justice involved individuals. We also have seniors using the content, as well as job seekers and even entrepreneurs. And so lately, we have actually been experimenting with digital navigators, and that may be a new term for you all, but basically with the whole adoption of broadband and the expansion of digital equity and inclusion, we're going to see a lot more probably digital navigators who are not just addressing training, but are also addressing affordable broadband devices, whether or not that is basically the acquisition of devices or some sort of lending program, and then the technical support. And the reason that I have the digital navigators up here is because basically they are the boots on the ground. And one thing about the workbook is that we actually addressed a lot of the issues around the support, as well as the key fundamentals that go into core concepts of the training. And I'm going to highlight some of those in the next slide. And then lastly, we do have a lot of programs using our product line for actually train the trainer programs. They're basically using the instructor guide to basically provide training for volunteers, for college students that are working to help teach, for example, a lot of the digital literacy classes that they're offering to their adult learners. And I'm going to highlight the table of contents of the workbook, because that is sort of the foundation. And you can see here, there are 7 lessons. And within those lessons, there are a number of subunits. And each lesson starts with the learning objectives. There are key terms, so there's an emphasis on core vocabulary, as well as text and charts and practice exercises. So the workbook is highly engaging, which is very important in terms of not only holding the attention of the learner, but making sure that they are finding meaning and are engaged in the content. And then lastly, the workbook is very graphic heavy, and we have seen with our customers that this has been very beneficial for low literacy adults as well as English language learners, and something that we have received feedback that has helped basically move the learners along the spectrum of whatever their individual needs have been, as most of them come to a lot of these programs with specific goals in mind. And I'm going to highlight a couple of those as we look at some of the content areas that the workbook covers. And so, for example, purchasing a computer, just because of time, I don't have time to go through all of them, but I do know that we've had several customers that have had adult learners come to their program specifically wanting information on how to purchase a computer. And it just so happens that in our workbook, we break down some of those core components of purchasing a computer, like speed, memory, and space, with personas, so that the learner can understand the user types that might engage with a particular purchase. So for example, a gamer might need more hard drive space and more memory than someone who's just using their computer for school. And so this has been really effective, and it was somewhat unexpected because we didn't expect that we would have so many students coming wanting to know themselves how to purchase a computer and using the information in that way. And then I just want to highlight as well, one thing about the workbook that has been instrumental is that the content really reaches the adult learner where they are, and there's application in their everyday life. So for example, the content on in lesson 4, and I have up here practical online activities with a data breach. A lot of the users have been hacked or have had some identity theft occurrences, unfortunately, but as we know with the cyber attacks, that happens. And so there are instructions on how to walk someone through what they should do in case there is a cyber attack or there is a data breach. And so that information has been helpful, for example, helping someone to understand how to go about checking their credit report to see if there's been identity theft. So it's really meeting that adult learner where they are with things that might happen within their life. And so we also highlight career readiness. There are software basics at the very fundamental level with spreadsheets, as well as Microsoft Word or Google Docs with the word processing and then presentations. And then there's career readiness lessons as well that highlight an interest assessment to help the learners understand what their interests are and how they align with different careers and different occupations. And it just breaks down a lot of the information that's a bit clunky at the Department of Labor website. If any of you all have been there or have instructed your users to go to that site. So basically, I also want to highlight the online curricula quickly. So at our thirded.com website, this is where we have the instructor's guide as well as the supplement. And these items are basically, again, provided as a supplement to the foundational digital literacy workbook, which is Computers One Click at a Time. And the website has the features of a learning management system. It is compatible with a wide range of devices. And the supplemental information that is provided in the online supplement are things like discussion questions, tips for instructors, particularly digital navigators and tutors who are trying to frame their course as facilitators. And then there's a lot of interactive activities, gamification with crossword puzzles, a Jeopardy game, for example, that highlights a lot of the content that's in the book and then expands while also giving the user an opportunity to validate their learning with knowledge checks and additional activities. And I'm just going to highlight here, this is the portal for New Readers Press. As you can see here, there are some featured courses, but this is actually the URL that's listed here. It's newreaderspress.thirded.com, and that is sort of the gateway for the customers of New Readers Press to access the online digital content. And I will just also highlight that the Computers One Click at a Time instructional materials are aligned to Northstar. We basically align with over 200 and some of their core guidelines and assessments for digital literacy. And for those of you who don't know, Northstar is a program of Literacy Minnesota that basically defines the digital skills needed for adult learners to navigate work, life, and higher education. And then in terms of where to purchase, there are a few ways, and I will highlight that New Readers Press website does have our workbook as well as for the other products. And I think you can find them under their digital solutions and workforce readiness tabs. And the workbook is also available at our site and on Amazon. But as far as the instructor guide and student supplement and product bundles where you could save some money, those are available exclusively at the New Readers Press website. Finally, I just want to highlight the onboarding process as we are quickly almost at the end of our time. So once you become a customer and you purchase whichever digital product that you're looking for, whether it's the online materials or the physical workbook, you will be assigned a username. And I'm just basically highlighting this because I just want to make it clear that this process, it really is easy as 1, 2, 3. With that username, there's onboarding instructions, and then you come over to us. And I just want to highly recommend that you do the 45-minute orientation. There is no cost, and there are tips as well as some customization options to help you customize the course shells that you get to help have your course available and ready to go for your students. And then finally, you were just able to start your class, and we give you instructions and options as to how you might want your students to onboard, whether you want them to onboard themselves as far as signing up online, or if you want to enroll them if you have a large number of students. So Dan, I'm going to hand it back over to you because I know we're sort of at the end of our 30 minutes, and we'll just see if anybody has any questions. So thank you all. We really appreciate you all being here to learn more about these products to help sustain your programming.
Okay, and I do have one question from Deborah. And Deborah, yes, a recording of all 3 sessions will be sent to everyone who registered for any part of this webinar series. I'll probably get that out to everyone on Monday. It will contain the recordings, the slides that were used in all three, and a certificate of participation. I want to thank Gwen, Rachel, Courtney, and Angela, all for helping present today. And especially on behalf of New Readers Press, thank all of you for joining us today for, a look at some tools that are available to you now to help build a more equitable digital landscape